Japanese soldier Kenichi Matsumura was a 19-year-old private who was in Manila when the atomic bomb was dropped on August 6, 1945. In his memoirs, Matsumura described the devastating effects of the bomb, which killed 75,000 to 100,000 people, including many Japanese soldiers. The blast destroyed everything within a 300-meter radius, and Matsumura was left to navigate the desolate landscape, searching for survivors and trying to make sense of the carnage. The story of Japanese soldiers after World War II is a deeply emotional and complex one, marked by surrender, captivity, war crimes trials, and long-term psychological impact. The following narrative aims to capture the pain and resilience of these soldiers as they navigated the aftermath of the war. The end of World War II brought a mix of emotions for Japanese soldiers. For many, surrender was a concept they were unprepared for, as it was considered the greatest of all sins in their military culture. The news of Japan's surrender brought relief to Allied servicemen, but for the Japanese soldiers, it marked the beginning of a new and challenging chapter: surrender in captivity. Many Japanese soldiers, an estimated 16 to 17 million, surrendered to the Soviet forces in the last weeks of the war. The process of surrender was often brutal, with many soldiers being stripped naked or mostly nude, facing the humiliation of defeat. The physical and emotional impact of brutal captivity would continue for many of the Allied prisoners of war held by the Japanese. The repatriation of demobilized Japanese soldiers exacerbated starvation conditions, adding to their suffering. War crimes trials. The Tokyo War Crimes Trial, which took place from May 1946 to November 1948, found all remaining defendants guilty and sentenced them to punishments ranging from death. The trials were held in the former building of the Japanese Ministry of War in Ikegaya, Tokyo. The emotional weight of facing the consequences of their actions and the guilt of their involvement in war crimes would have been immense for the soldiers. Psychological impact. The long-term effects of Japan's traumatic experience of the Second World War have been studied extensively, with researchers examining predictors and health-related effects of post-traumatic stress among civilian internees of the Japanese during World War II. The study found that higher incomes were associated with lower levels of post-traumatic stress within the most recent 6 months after their release. The psychological residues of captivity and the emotional trauma of war would leave a lasting impact on the soldiers, affecting their well-being for years to come. The story of Japanese soldiers after World War II is one of pain, resilience, and the enduring impact of war. The emotional and psychological toll of surrender, captivity, and facing the consequences of their actions in war crimes trials would shape the lives of these soldiers in profound ways. As we reflect on their experiences, it's important to acknowledge the human cost of war and the long-lasting effects it has on individuals and societies.